Act 2 of this week's Extra Time. We're still on the Eastern Conference. We're going to look at them top to bottom. We split them into 3 groups in the East. Group 1, teams that were fighting for the title last year. Group 2, teams that made the playoffs. And Group 3, teams that just had lots of question marks and didn't even make it. So we'll start with Group 1, Columbus, Chicago, and New England. These were the cream of the crop in the East last year.
Greg, 3 quality teams, depth of the roster, individual stars, great coaching, very good teams.
Well, I'm glad you bring up coaching because the Crew, defending MLS champs, have a new coach. Ziggy Schmidt off to Seattle. Robert Warzija takes over. Is he ready for this?
Well, he better be, because I think Ziggy Schmidt was actually underestimated as a coach until last year. He's a tremendous coach. Warzija, not a lot of coaching experience. Tremendous player, but will he be able to rule that team?
Well, he has assistant coaching experience.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You're now a head coach. Look, the good news for Columbus, they really kept their team intact, and they have a ton of quality, but I think it's one thing to win a championship. It's more difficult to replicate.
That's true. Well, speaking of quality and keeping your team intact, that's also Chicago's case with Blanco, McBride, Rolfe in attack, Samari, Segaris, Conde in the back, Dason Robinson back from injury. This is a team I really like.
John Bush in goal as well.
John Bush in goal as well. So, I mean, this is a team that I think could go all the way.
Yeah, you love Chicago.
I do.
I do too. If I have one reservation, possibly age, because you look at Blanco and McBride, but Blanco especially, another year older, does he have the motivation, does he have the energy to continue to lead that team?
No, that's true. Plus, he spent the offseason playing. He was out on loan down in Mexico. Now, New England have transformed themselves into a young, speedy team. They have Kenny Mansali, Niasi, that rookie Kevin Alston is in there. But big question, can they make up for the loss of Michael Parkhurst, who went over to Denmark in the offseason?
Yeah, my answer is no. I have concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, none about Stevie Nicol. He's going to adjust. He's going to play 4 in the back instead of 3 to make up for the loss of Parkhurst. But I also have concerns not about Taylor Twellman and Ralston as players, but the injury to Ralston, injuries last year to Taylor Twellman, can they come back?
And Twellman and Ralston are probably the 2 that will determine the team's fate. In Group 2, New York and Kansas City. They both made the playoffs, New York sneaking in at the end. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I think they both can. And when you talk about New York, I think this team is loaded. I think they have the best striker in the league in Juan Pablo Angel. I think they've added a ton of speed. They have Oduro, they have Dane Richards, they have Cano Smith, and they have Rojas. Well, he's got speed. I didn't say he's quality, but he has speed. And Rojas now acclimated to the league. He's in good shape. If he could spray the ball around, I think they'll be very good.
And he seems motivated to come back and prove himself after last year.
If there are any concerns, it's really on the defensive side of the ball, but they're going to be a team that attacks.
Well, Kansas City also looking to get in the attack a little bit more. Claudio Lopez, Davy Arnaud, they were last year 3rd fewest goals in MLS. This offseason, they picked up Adam Christman from New England. They brought in Santiago Hirsig, an attacking midfielder. This is a team that looks like they're improving and getting better.
Yeah, Kansas City is a weird team, and I really give the credit to Kurt Onalfo because no individual stars up top. You usually need a big-time striker that can lead in goal production. Lopez is going to be good, but I think Kurt Onalfo really has them organized. They lose the ball, 10 behind the ball. They win the ball, they all get forward as a unit.
If Josh Wolf can replicate what he used to do as well, that would help. In Group 3, Toronto and DC, a couple of teams that have different looks going into 2009. DC actually has an old look. Olsen is back from injury. Gomez is back from no man's land. They signed a new player. Canadian center back Dejan Jakovic, that was a concern center back that they had to address.
Yeah, Greg, but I still think it is. Can Jakovic step in and be that player they need in the central part of the defense? I don't know. Ben Olsen coming back from injury. Christian Gomez didn't play a lot last year.
And he's 34 now.
And Jaime Moreno, I love the player, but a year older, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's a wait and see for Toronto as well. They had some big changes. The biggest one, they brought in Dwayne De Rosario from Houston. Can he share the midfield with Amado Guevara?
Yeah, I really am liking this Toronto team. And I'll tell you, Amado Guevara, I think, an unfair reputation that he needs to be the man. When he played for Honduras at the highest level for the national team, he always sublimated himself to a central playmaker on that team. In New York with Djorkaeff, he did the same thing. He backed off. He played second fiddle. With De Rosario, Cole Robinson, they could be the best midfield in the league.
That's true. Now the question for them is in back and up front. They brought in Pablo Vitti, who should help up top. Chad Barrett gets a full season. In back, they brought in Adrian Sirius, so they seem to have addressed some of their concerns. If they have a good season, and let's say they make a run to MLS Cup, if it all comes together, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. If you have any questions or comments, email us at extratime@mlsnet.com, and we'll kick it around.